Let's bring in someone who understands the inner workings of government. John Manley was Canada's former finance minister and deputy prime minister. He is a senior advisor at Bennett Jones. John, nice to see you.
Good to see you, John.
We should remind our audience that in Canada we do have a fail-safe with our parliamentary system to keep the government lights on even when there are spending squabbles. But as a former finance minister, what do you make of this shutdown story, which at least in part is tied to a big debate over fiscal discipline?
Well, first of all, I'd say it's really important everyone understands Canada's on a different basis altogether, that even when the political process isn't ongoing, there's a process whereby the Governor General can issue warrants to make sure that there's funding for the government to continue. So we don't face a similar prospect in this country, but in the U.S., where you've got this partisan deadlock in the Congress, and I think it's important to notice this, the Senate in the U.S. actually came to an agreement. It's the House Republicans which are divided, and where their leader, Kevin McCarthy, is having his hands full trying to get a very extreme group of Republican legislators to agree to fund the government. And you know, as I see it, John, basically they're saying we don't want to let Biden put any points on the board here. We're not going to fund anything. So it's going to be very, very tricky to figure out how to get enough Republican votes and have the Republican congressional delegations split that see their government get funded. Otherwise, stay tuned, because for Canada, you know, it won't happen to us here, but it will definitely have its implications for us.
Well, and even, you know, as simple as what happens with air traffic controllers in the United States. I mean, all of a sudden, if travel becomes a complicated issue for the U.S., I think people will pay a lot of attention. Now, I think that in the markets, there's almost this view right now. First of all, let's see if we see a shutdown. Let's see if this is a shutdown that lasts well over a week. And this does feel like, I think, to some market participants, like a different situation than the debt ceiling debate not that long ago, because this is very much rooted in some squabbles. At what point, though, you know, I suppose if you're the Democrats for now, you can watch the Republicans squabble. At what point does Joe Biden have to start worry about the fact that people don't care what the reason for this is? If this is hampering life, then it becomes his problem.
It is his problem,
yeah,
almost right away. He's going to do his best. Of course, the Democrats will do their best to say this is the Republicans being unreasonable, holding things up. The Republicans' response to that is, well, you're just spending too much, and we want to see some spending cut, and you know, they will make that pitch to their voters, saying we had to stop the hemorrhaging. Government was just spending too much. So you can see how the political battle lines are going to line up out there, and who knows? It's hard to watch, to be perfectly honest, John. One of the world's great democracies, incapable in many respects of continuing to govern itself in a reasonable and predictable manner because of the divisions that have arisen between their political parties.
So I guess for Canada, and look, we could have a conversation around the debate over spending in this country, but to your point, having a process in a democratic nation that allows for debate and then also still operating actually the country, you know, what do we have to be mindful of? You know, the economists very quickly are going to try to figure out what the economic damage is for not just the U.S., but for everyone, including Canada. So what are you going to be watching closely?
Well, I think the key thing, as you've mentioned, is how long does this last? Yeah. Is it 3 or 4 or 5 days? Well, you know, it's not good, but you know that won't have any really significant implications for us or for others. And then how do they prioritize? You know, how they manage the shutdown, so that what essential services are able to be maintained during it. Typically, this has been a relatively minor impact on us in the past, but the key is that the duration. And in this case, this is not your garden variety political squabble. This is a really hardcore group of Republicans at a politically sensitive time when the Republican Party is already having their debates for the presidential nominee for next year. Everybody is really hypersensitive about the implications of these things, and any conciliation, any backing down hasn't in recent past been rewarded. It's been punished. So those battle lines could be pretty difficult to penetrate. So I think Canadians need to worry about that, not just the travelers, but people that are trading with the United States, that are looking for deliveries coming from the United States. You know, as this escalates and you're dealing with delays in food inspections, so food exports from the United States into Canada become delayed. Imports from into the United States from other countries, including from Canada, become delayed. And you've got a lot of government employees across the United States, as you do in Canada, federal government employees across Canada. You have a lot of those people idle at home with, they're not on strike pay. They're on no pay. That will have its own implications for us.
Those are